room. BestHotelRates.com. It's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
Whoa, I got...
Yeah, I know. Let's go on a Thursday night. SportsMap Radio, the SportsMap Radio app. You can be a part of the show. It's very easy. 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. We are an interactive show, despite the fact that I always forget to give out the phone number. You can hit us up on Twitter as well, at the back page. And I always try to tell people this. You want to hit us up on Twitter. Because if you follow me on Twitter and you send me a message, and I'm not talking about a direct message. I had people dropping me DMs last night. just say hi or send us a thought or whatever. You're automatically entered to win on our giveaway day on Wednesdays. That's it. Simple as that. All you got to do is follow me on Twitter. Send me a note. You're entered to win. Simple as that. So do that on Twitter at the back page. Again, on Twitter at the back page. I decided to do something a little different tonight in the first hour of the show. Everybody knows Thursday Night Football is on Amazon Prime, the big Thursday Night Football debut. And the easy thing would be, well, I always worked for guys in this industry. Counter-programming, talk about other stuff. Here's the reality. There's going to be 20 million people watching this Thursday Night Football game. Between the local markets that are allowed to air the game live and everybody just out of sheer curiosity wanting to see what Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit sound like. You've got an amazing matchup with Kansas City and Los Angeles. And everybody's going to want to tune in. So my idea is let's go with that. Let's hang out. Let's hang out and talk about the game as it's going on with live betting odds, which we'll be giving to you throughout this entire hour of the program. Yes, you're looking at it live on the screen right now. If you're watching us on the Decibel 88 YouTube channel or on Facebook, the Decibel 88 channel, you can actually hang out with us and watch the live odds, and we'll talk about it throughout this hour of the show, and we'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the game. So stay with us. Lots to do. First hour of the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. He is. I have to get him dialed up, and I don't really care because in the first segment, I don't really have time for 17 voices. There he is. You there, Vlad? Continuing with this Wednesday edition of the Cash In, and I am Jason Payne. Look, as much as we talk about sports and have fun with it and get into the the odds and the spreads and all that, anybody who knows me knows I am as much a geek for the hardcore news that surrounds sports, and I don't think you can do a show like this and not carry the responsibility of talking about some difficult stories sometimes, and what's going on with the NBA and this. Vlad, I don't hear you. I still don't hear Vlad. Oh, there you are.
How you like watching it? How you like watching on Prime?
I like it.
People say it was a bit choppy.
Oh, I've had zero issues with the video.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had any trouble at all.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tell you, man, Michaels can work with anybody, though. He's just amazing.
You still didn't tell me how the
Coming back. Stand by. Got a fun show for you tonight. We'll be joined by Patrick McEnroe in the next hour, about an hour and a half from now. Talk to him at 8:40 p.m. Pacific, 11:40 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. And Patrick McEnroe from ESPN will stop by the show. We'll get his thoughts on what happened with Roger Federer, his retirement. And Patrick's somebody that, has been in the broadcast booth for pretty much the entirety of Roger Federer's career. So if anybody's qualified to talk about the career of Roger Federer, it is certainly Patrick McEnroe. And he'll do that coming up at 11:40 p.m. Eastern. I'll try and see if I could slip in a question on Serena Williams as well, because that is a fascinating story as well. So that coming up a little later on in the show. As I said, tonight we're going to focus on the live betting in the first hour, because that's part of what we really want to do on this show, is incorporate a lot of the sports betting and fantasy information that people are looking to sort of dig their teeth into as games are going on. You're driving around the country and you're monitoring your phone, hopefully not while driving. Maybe you're in the passenger seat and you can kind of keep an eye of what's going on. Right now, 6:24 to go in the third quarter. It's 17-14 Chargers on top of the Chiefs, and we're using the FanDuel live betting for the sake of this. I mean, I could put up anybody, but for this week, we'll do it with FanDuel and play along on their app. But right now, the Chargers, obviously with a 17-14 lead, on the money line, they are minus 102. The Chiefs are minus 125. So basically, you're not losing anything either way if you bet either side of this, as far as the juice is concerned, unless you're betting some really, really large live betting stakes. And just as I say that, the numbers disappear. So we'll keep that on the screen. For those of you that are watching the broadcast of the show, you get to enjoy that. For those of you that are listening, we will periodically give you the numbers. I am not going to sit here throughout the entire hour and just throw numbers at you. Your eyes will start to spin. They'll glaze over. And if you are in a car, you might just drive into a telephone pole or something. We don't want that to happen. Our executive producer is Vladimir Lewis. Good evening, Vladimir.
What's going on, Jason?
Not a heck of a lot. Not a heck of a lot. Are you eating the microphone again?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. There is some cool prop bets up that we're scrolling through right now as well. That a lot of these sports betting, these legal sports betting sites have these days. Boy, what a game Mike Williams has had, by the way. Wow. You notice his anytime touchdown scorer is off the board now, because he had one earlier and he very well could have had two. He caught one down near the 1 yard line, bailed out Justin Herbert on a ball that he underthrew. But exciting game in Kansas City. I kind of thought it would be a little more high scoring. I'm a little surprised that we're at 17-14 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I thought this game would be a little more high scoring. Now, that's not to say you can't get a wild fourth quarter with a ton of fireworks with these offenses going up and down the field. And when you're talking about, and Kirk Herbstreit's made mention of this quite a bit during the broadcast, when you get these hurry up offenses, and it's stuff that he sees a lot in college. He says, "God, it feels like I'm doing games on a Saturday." When you've got teams hurrying up on offense, first, second, third game of the season, guys are not in four-quarter shape yet. You could see some fireworks in the fourth quarter as defenses start to run down a little bit. But we'll see.
I expect that because I have the over in the game. So I need that.
Well, what you need and what's actually going to happen are two totally obviously different things. That's not the only live sporting event going on right now, by the way. The Connecticut Sun are trying to stave off elimination. Game 3 of the WNBA Finals in Connecticut tonight, and the Sun lead the Aces in the third quarter about midway through, 64-50. So that series looks like it'll get to a Game 4 if the Sun are able to hang on. But obviously the story is Thursday Night Football, 17-14. Look, I can't complain with what I saw from either team in the first half. You saw a couple of plays in the first half as far as Patrick Mahomes was concerned that he'd probably like to have back. And, Justin Herbert has played well. The one thing I get about the Chargers, and I think it's one of these intangibles. It's not something you're going to see in statistics. It's not something the stat geeks are going to be able to pull up when trying to justify them in a bet, or if you're talking about fantasy players. This team doesn't seem to get rattled by anything, and it starts with Justin Herbert. There just doesn't seem to be any panic mode in this team. They're just always relaxed, and if there was ever a night, ever an environment to come into, the home opener in Kansas City, if there was ever a time for a team to kind of show some nerves, get rattled a little bit, you just don't get any of that. You don't get any of that from this Chargers team.
I think that's overrated.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I really don't.
I think so because it's not like this is the first time he's gone to Arrowhead. This is his third season in the NFL.
I get it.
With a veteran team, and he's won in Arrowhead. Kansas, they've won the last 2 times, so that narrative I think is kind of tired.
No, but again, it's a difference between playing your typical regular season game in Arrowhead, or even a playoff game in Arrowhead, and that first home game where everybody's just going nuts, especially coming off the game that Mahomes had last week in Arizona with the 5 touchdown passes. They've done a pretty darn good job containing Patrick Mahomes in this Kansas City offense. But again, it's the second game of the year. And again, I'll say this for the first few games of the year. This is something that you will get from me because I don't think you can get a true sense of, we all know what the identity of a lot of these teams are because they tell us and they all go out of their way to kind of let us know what kind of football team they're going to be. But not until you get out there on the field do you really figure out what the identity of some of these teams are. And I just don't think we have a true enough sense yet exactly of what these teams are, until you get through 2, 3, 4 games. It's the same reason why I constantly say I don't want to see, college football rankings after week 1 or week 2. I don't want to even see NFL power rankings. My God, I mean, the second the Monday night game ends, all right, here's the new power rankings. It's like, shut up. I get you all need something to talk about. But don't give me power. Oh, team slips from, 7 to 16. Why? Because they played on a crappy field in Chicago? Or somebody got banged up in a game? Or somebody just made a couple of bad throws in a game? It just, to me, it's that need for a knee-jerk reaction. It's that need to have it now. A plus B has to equal C. It can't possibly be any other way. You can't just let 2 or 3 weeks play out and then give me some power rankings. No, it's got to be after week 1. Look who took the biggest drop after week 1 of the NFL season in our power rankings, as if they mean anything. It's just a way for you to get clicks. It's just a way for you to get people fired up on sports radio or whatever your TV network of choice is, which is why, if you listen to this show, I didn't do a damn thing on power rankings. And I won't. Because it's just, it's idiotic. It's fodder for the lowest common denominator. That's what it is. I mean, I don't say this to demean some of my friends in the media, but that's what you're doing. You're dumbing it down. Our power rankings. Yeah, because I'm sure Andy Reid is sitting in his office going, wow, did you see where we are in the power rankings? Yeah, because Bill Belichick's sitting there going, yeah, Mac Jones got sacked 700 times, but oh, look where we are in the power rankings. You think the teams care? They don't care. Just for the fans. Just to get them all fired up. Give them something to get angry about. That's all it is. Won't do it. I won't play that game. Sorry. 17-14 Chargers on top. Late third quarter now. And Kansas City with the football. Down by 3. I'm sure this thing's going to go down to the final couple of minutes. And Vlad sent me a note last night. I'll say this too. Vlad sent me a note last night. And he said, make a prediction on the Thursday night football game. Give me, before the show's over, give a prediction on the Thursday night football game. He sent me that on our Wednesday night show. I'll explain exactly why I didn't do it. I haven't even told Vlad this yet, but I'll tell you all when we come back on the Cash In. We'll keep you up to date on the live betting as well. I'm Jason Page. This is Sports Map Radio. Yes. Yes.
Is that a fumble? Oh, the ball, the ground can cause a fumble, right?
No.
Yeah, okay, so then he's good. I also took the Chiefs -1.5 in the second half. These guys need some running backs, man. No, they do. 3rd and 2 and 4th and 1. You can't be running small guys. Fucking Teddy, whatever that guy. You might as well run Freddie Pacheco. They weren't going to get through.
Let's ask Terry McCauley what he thinks. What'd you think of the pregame show? Did you watch?
Yeah, I watched it 2 weeks ago. It's the same way. It's the same thing. It's the same. I love Carissa. She loves the brothers. Oh, wow. That could have been a pick 6. You know what? I got to take something back about the Chargers. That defense could be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, corners have dropped a couple of picks tonight.
Wow.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
Once again, the goal line, the red zone, especially when they play this team, it's always questionable. They did that in a Thursday night game. And where's that going?
It's inside the 1. Set up a real interesting call on 4th down. I guess it's not really much of a call.
I think you got to go for it.
Of course you do.
Well, you have the 4th quarter to think about it.
But see, it's just the
It's just the stupidity of what it takes all of these plays just to get 2 fucking yards, man. It's just stupid.
No, but it's interesting to me, the narrative after week 1 again. Patrick Mahomes can do no wrong. He walks on water. Wow. And now he's losing at home 17-14 going to the 4th quarter. It's just it really is, with very few exceptions. I'm not going to do the show in the break. I'll come back and talk about it. Hey, we're coming back. Al Michaels, the call. Mike Williams, the one-handed touchdown. A huge fourth down coming up in just a moment in this game. Fourth down and goal from inside the 1 for Kansas City, trailing 17-14. They're in a commercial. I'd be shocked if they did anything other than go for it. Matter of fact, you know what Vegas is thinking right now? The FanDuel line on the live line on the game is KC minus 172 on the money line. Chargers are plus 134. So you know what FanDuel is thinking is about to happen. They're basically telling you the Chiefs are going to run it in, or Mahomes will run it in or throw it or whatever. But we'll see what happens on fourth down as they start the fourth quarter at Arrowhead. 50th year.
Oh, they're going for it.
Oh, they got to be going for it. No way they're not.
And
going
plus,
for
they don't have their Pro Bowl kicker. Butker's hurt. They're using,
if the guy can't make a 17-yard field goal.
Amendola.
Yeah, I know, but come on. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Yeah. I think it's. I mean, actually, I should take it back because if it was the Broncos head coach, they might be kicking the field goal. Oh, we got to get the sure points. The math tells us. Nathaniel Hackett. Where are you, Nathaniel Hackett? Oh, man. Coming up in the next hour of the show, Patrick McEnroe will talk about the retirement of Roger Federer. The ESPN analyst joins us at 8:40 p.m. Pacific time. And they're drawing up plays. Doesn't look like they're kicking it. Shocker. They're kicking it? Are you kidding me? Andy Reid's kicking it? Wow. That is absolutely stunning. Let me tell you something. You never know what you're going to see. It's the beauty of live sports, the unscripted nature of live sports. You never would have thought in that spot they're kicking a field goal.
It makes sense. They don't have no short yard or goal line back.
Hold on. All right, let me play devil's advocate though here. You've got arguably one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. You're telling me we can't figure out a way to get less than a yard?
Yeah, well, they can't quarterback sneak him. One time they did, his leg nearly broke.
I get it. I'm stunned. That is not a typical Andy Reid decision. And guess what?
Week 2.
But here's the thing. It tells you that he's absolutely convinced they can't get a yard right now. Because if he had any sort of belief in that offense, you're going for it there. It's not like it's late in the game. You're probably going to get the ball 2 or 3 more times.
All right.
Well, the odds just, as you can see on our screen, if you're watching the show, the odds have changed with the score 17-17. Right now, it is the Chargers plus 2.5, KC minus 2.5. The money line is Chargers plus 102, and the Chiefs minus 130. Yeah. Yep.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
To be an ish starter, if a certain man that was wearing number 10 last year, if he's in the game, you think they go for it?
Great question. And I'm sure a lot of people on sports radio tomorrow will be asking that very question.
Well, I'm asking it now, so we started.
Well, I mean, it's easy in 2020, hindsight being 2020. I think they're going for it there. He's on if Hill's on the field, yeah. Absolutely. I don't think there's any question. But they are missing that component. They do have a lot of talented guys, though. I mean, it's not like they don't have any playmakers down there. I get a lot of them are in the receiving game.
Nobody that can run the ball. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, my fellow Haitian, he can't run the ball short yardage. McKinnon can't run it. And the rookie from Rutgers, Pacheco, he can't run it.
Hey, how many national sports radio shows will have an executive producer who could say my fellow Haitian when talking about an NFL player? Right here, baby. Right here. Now, last night, Vlad texted me as we were getting ready to, there might have been an hour left in the show or something like that. And he sent me a text. I don't remember why he sent me a text instead of just telling me. But he sent me a note, and it said, give a Thursday night football prediction. Give a prediction. What do you think is going to happen on Thursday night? And I didn't tell Vlad this at the time, and I didn't talk about it on the air at all because we were kind of running through a bunch of things last night. But the simple reason why I didn't give a prediction on this game is I don't have one. And I'm not going to give, and that's one thing I promised not to do on this show. I am not going to give predictions for the sake of giving predictions, because you might take my prediction to heart and go out and bet the farm on it. And I'm not going to be responsible for that. There's just certain times where I'm going to sit on the fence because I don't always have a prediction. If I was betting my own money, let's kind of broaden this out a little bit. Give you a little bit of my philosophy when it comes to sports betting. I'm not one that believes. As a matter of fact, Vlad sent me a thing this weekend. Here's the perfect example of what I am not. And Vlad and I just differ this way, and he bets on things way differently than I do. And I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way. It's just my way and his way. But he sent me a thing this weekend of like this 6-team parlay he did for like 75 cents that if he won, it would win like 120. And it was all these first half overs, unders, these different first half prop bets and stuff like that. And I think you wound up winning, right? If I'm not mistaken, Vlad.
First of all, it wasn't 75 cents.
I get it. It was like $10, I think.
All right.
It was like 10 to win 120 or something like that. But it was like six. It was what? Like six things?
It was a 16 parlay.
Yeah.
Took all the second half,
okay.
4 o'clock games.
Okay. So my point is, some people like to do that. It's fun. It doesn't cost you a lot. And if you hit it, boom, magical. Great. I'm of the mindset, and my betting philosophy is find one game you really love and hammer the you-know-what out of it. And guess what? I wouldn't have put money on this game tonight. With Mahomes coming off that performance last week, the value on him was so high. And the expectations were so great. There was no way he was going to live up to it. But at the same time, the Chargers got a home win last week. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't great. But they got a win last week. I just didn't have a great feel for the game. And my mentality is, I'm not going to bet it if I don't see anything that I like. Why go and put my hard-earned money on a game just for the sake of the action? And I get it. There's some people out there that are of the mindset, hey, greatest feeling in the world winning a close bet. Next greatest feeling in the world losing a close bet. It's a degenerate mentality. It's not mine. So when I have games I love, and they're games that I would feel comfortable putting my money on, because if I'd put my money on it, then I don't have a problem telling you to put your money on it, then I'll do it. But I'm not gonna just, hey, there's a game on tonight, so let's tell you who to bet on. Hell to the no. I'm not doing that. Why would you want to listen to me? If I'm right half the time and wrong half the time. Guess what? Everybody's right half of the time and wrong half of the time for the most part in this industry when it comes to picking games. Everybody will try to tell you otherwise, but the majority of people, there's some wise guys out there that are making money. And you know what? They're doing it privately. They're not talking on the air about it. 17-17, first and goal for the Chargers on the Kansas City 3.
Not anymore.
Oh, what happened? They fumble it?
Pick 6 in the end zone.
Oh, Jesus.
Herbert rushing the offense to the line.
Really?
If you look at it, Jason, on
I
replay,
didn't
the
see
receiver, number 7, when you look at it, number 7, I believe that Parnham, he catches the ball and gets a first down, runs it up to the 3-yard line for the Chargers. So it looks like he's banged up and he's calling for for some help, but Herbert goes to the line and tries to quick snap it, and he does, and he throws it right to the cornerback, number 35, who returns it 102 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm just getting
17.
Yeah, I just got to look at the replay. Wow. Oh, man. I told you there'd still be some fireworks in this game. And there's
a lot of fireworks, and this is why Justin Herbert show and prove. This is when I'm telling everybody, let me see. Everybody is ready to crown his ass. Well,
but see, this again, and we were talking about this during the break, and I didn't want to spoil it. First of all, the odds have completely been blown up now as a result of the pick 6. And I believe they kicked the extra point, right? 24-17. 24-17 Kansas City. And as a result now, but this is nuts to me. I got to be honest, with 10:47 to go in the fourth quarter, Vlad, the Chargers now are plus 390.
I would put money on them.
And Kansas City is minus 590. Of course you'd put money on the Chargers. I'd put money on. Now, this is one.
Freaking put money
Here
on
we
the
go.
Chargers right now.
I said I will tell you when I like something a lot. I would hammer the Chargers at plus 340. It just went from 390 to 340 because everybody is probably hammering it. All right, stay there. We'll come right back, tell you more about what's going on in this game. It's the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. It's Sports Map Radio.
I'm still trying to get somebody for the Niners, maybe for at 9 p.m.
Say again?
Hour.
I'm sorry.
Still trying to get another guest, maybe
Okay.
midnight, 9 p.m.
Do you think there's anybody we can get post-game on this? Like we did on Monday night?
Who?
Like we did on Monday night?
Yeah, but that's different. That's Jen. Jen is our home.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think if there's anybody out there.
Verderam? You went Verderam?
I was just thinking.
I mean, I don't know anybody that works in KC. I've been looking.
No, but I'm saying you got the black book. Just start dialing people up. See if
No,
anybody
I
wants to
did.
come on.
That's what I'm saying. I've been looking. Most of the people are going to say they're working the games. Most of the reporters, they're going to, same way that happened with the Buffalo and Rams game last Thursday.
If we can get some live post. I wonder if anybody carries like just uninterrupted feeds of live post game. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, YouTube.
Do they?
I believe so.
Give me that look. You give me that look. Collar's all disheveled. You're a mess. You're a mess, dude. Oh, boy.
So when who's the head of the media? Is it the person who's the executive vice president, the senior director, or the vice president of football communications?
It's a good question.
Here's what I to the Chiefs just to see maybe we get the cornerback who returned the touchdown.
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
I knew it. And you see the replay. Everett was hurt. He could not. He was not ready. He was trying to get, and they quick snapped it. See?
Oh yeah.
See, Herbert didn't listen to he did not pay attention to his play. He was more focused on trying to get down. Yeah, that's a bad mistake by on the quarterback. Herbstreit's making that money, boy.
Yeah, telling you, man. There's some guys right now that are just cashing in while the going is good. It's like Pat McAfee. It's like McAfee right now. It's the same thing. Yeah,
McAfee's the new Herbstreit, man. You've seen the Herbstreit evolution for a long time from college game day.
Stand by. It's coming back. Stand by. And, it's kind of interesting in this Thursday night game because there was a couple of calls in the first half where Brandon Staley kind of called it pretty tight. Didn't go for it on fourth down. And he was a guy last year that I think they said 32 or 34 times, which I think was the most in the league. He went for it on fourth down. And even him in this game, kind of playing it tighter. So it's 24-17 Kansas City. And I said what we'd do in the first hour tonight is basically focus our attention not just on the NFL, but on this game in particular and give you sort of the live betting feel as it goes on throughout the second half, because the show starts right as the third quarter begins for us. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of go through some of the live betting options and, where the game is and give our opinions on where things are. So it's going to be a 4th and 4 for the Chargers, who are going to have to punt it away, and their money line odds just jumped as a result to 520. They are plus 520 with 9:14 to go, basically, fourth quarter. And if you want to bet Kansas City on the money line live, you're going to pay a fortune for it. It was minus 900 until they just pulled it off. So that's what you got going on right now in the Chiefs and Chargers game. And something I wanted to get to in the last segment and ran out of time because of my Herm Edwards-like clock management. After week one, we had Howard Balzer on the other night, and we were talking about the greatness that is Patrick Mahomes, and well-deserved. He had a great game, a 5-touchdown game. But the reality is, with very few exceptions in this league, trying to extrapolate what a player is or what a season's going to be, and the MVP odds on Mahomes probably jumped up a ton after week one. Trying to extrapolate any of this and make some full season prediction on one game, let alone week one. The smart people know better. At least they should. And again, I get it. You're trying to drum up conversation. But by and large, with very few exceptions, it's a week-to-week league. You're going to get up weeks. Even with the best players. Look at Aaron Rodgers in week one. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to be as bad again this season as he was in week one? And I know some people are going to say, well, if that receiving core doesn't, shape up or ship out. And no. That offense will not be that bad the entire season. Aaron Rodgers is not going to struggle like that the entire year. They're going to get Lazard back at some point. This offense isn't going to look like this the entire year. Just isn't. And as great as Patrick Mahomes was in week one, guess what? He's going to have down weeks. And this week, they might be losing the game, but the Chargers have proven defensively, they're no joke. With what we saw last week and what we've seen again this week, I don't think anybody's going to look at them and think, hey, we're going to be able to run up some points this week. I don't think anybody's thinking that right now. So that's the reason from week to week, you just can't go crazy about what you're seeing. You analyze it. We talk about it. We'll break it down. But trying to say what happens in week two is a reflection on what you're going to see by the time we get to week 16 or week 17 is just silly. It is. It's pure folly. Yeah, Justin Herbert made a bad decision down near the goal line. You know how many of those decisions he's going to have to make over the course of this season? And I'll bet he gets a lot more of them right than he gets wrong. But does that change the fact that he just made a terrible decision down on the goal line? And at the end of the day, who knows? It might be the reason the Chargers lose this game. It's possible. But even that said, you're going to want to go to battle with Justin Herbert. And no matter the outcome, if, Mahomes doesn't have his best game tonight, are you going to bet against him any other? You're going to bet with him most of the time. It's such a competitive league. Even the worst teams in the league. I mean, go ask the Eagles in week one against a Lions team that's been the laughingstock of the league for years. Went down to the final minute. It went down to the final seconds. The Saints, who some people have as a dark horse playoff team. And if you watch the way Jameis Winston played in the second half of that game, and that's something we didn't really talk about all that much on the show. He was unreal, particularly in the fourth quarter against the Falcons in that game. But again, Falcons were winning most of that game. And the Falcons, there are many people that think they could be historically bad this year. And they still almost won in week one. Predicting this league, even just take away the spreads and just talk about money lines. predicting this league week to week, good luck. And again, it's the reason and all the power to you if you want to sit there and parlay the hell out of your life. Like my executive producer, Vlad. You want to bang parlays like crazy, go right ahead. Knock yourself out. I just think it's so difficult to get it right so many times, whether it's 2-team, 3-team, 4-team, however many teams you want to do. I just think it's such a challenge in a league that is so week to week. And just when you feel like you've got a grasp for what's happening, the script gets flipped. So we got the Chiefs on top of the Chargers 24-17 as they play in the fourth quarter, about midway through, 8:15 to go. And Kansas City trying to hang on to the football as long as they can, give Justin Herbert as few possessions as he can. I'll tell you, I'd still take the Chargers plus 7.5 right now, too. At minus 240. At minus 240, plus 7.5. I think I'd take them.
That, Jason.
Where's the football right now?
Kansas City has it. They're moving.
Yeah, moving, but where are they?
They're probably on 38-yard line of L.A.
Oh, they're on the L.A.?
No, they're in their own 38.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought they were on their side of the field. Hopefully this isn't one of those nights, because I think the game's on Amazon Prime. I think our feeds are pretty close to each other. But I will say this: Mahomes and this offense, they've moved. Both teams have been able to move the ball. It's just sustained drives have been a little bit more difficult to come by.
Yikes!
And boy, Mahomes has had a couple of throws tonight where you're just left scratching your head. And then he throws the sidearm touchdown, and you're like, Pat, that's the Patrick Mahomes you love,
bro. You gotta live with that. It's like 4 out of 5 every dentist. There's at least one dentist.
But I mean, he's had easily 2 throws tonight. One that could have been a pick 6, which we were talking about as we came on the air, and then this one was bad too. And this is a guy that's been in the league for more than a few minutes.
Oops.
So it's going to be 4th down. So San Diego's going to get the football back. See, that plus 7.5 just went to plus 6.5 real fast. You got it, and that's why with live betting you got to get it fast. It's like Jeopardy, man. It's just how fast are you with the clicker? Because the Chargers at plus 7.5, when I told you to bang them, right now you'd be really happy with that pick. Because the chances of Kansas City scoring again in this game are very slim.
I wouldn't say that.
They're very slim.
They can score a field goal.
It's very unlikely.
They can score a field goal.
Great. And monkeys could fly out my butt, but it's not likely given again. But again, at 7.5, if he had taken it when I said, but at about the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter, that's looking like a really good bet right now.
Oh, you're right.
Which is why the line dropped to 6.5, because 7.5 is, as far as Vegas is concerned, was pretty much a given at this point. Unless they turn it over deep in their own territory, and sure, could that happen? But the odds of that are slim. The chances of it happening again.
What was the odds of Herbert throwing
a pick 6?
Interception,
Absolutely,
a pick 6
for 100 yards.
Yeah, I bet you that odds was ridiculous.
I don't think it was probably on there. I don't think pick 6 at the 1 was on anybody's odds sheet tonight. Man, it's the start of the NFL season, and boy, we had some great finishes on Sunday in Week 1. Amazon Prime's got to be thrilled, and I can't wait to see what the numbers are tomorrow for this game, because unlike we're going to actually have hard numbers on how many people watched, which is something that this is a first that Nielsen is actually doing traditional ratings, but doing it for Amazon Prime. So there's not going to be any, a lot of people watched the game. No, there's going to be an actual number. And I guarantee you the folks at the NFL offices in New York are sitting there on the edge of their seats. I saw Bezos hanging out with Roger Goodell on the sideline. They're chummy tonight. If they come in tomorrow and it says 12 million people or 10 million people watch this game, I don't know if they're going to be very happy.
Well, let me ask you this then, Paige.
Sure.
How do bars do this?
That's a great question. Well, now here's the one thing. In the local markets, you could still watch the game on regular television. It's everywhere else in the country that you have to have Amazon Prime.
We're in South. Oh, Herbert took a shot. Oh, he's hurt.
Yeah, he's slow to get up.
Oh, yeah.
And he's holding on. He's holding on to the back of his leg. Yeah, that's not good.
Ribs. Oh, my ribs. Oh, it's ribs.
I'm not laughing at the fact that he's hurt. I'm laughing at Vlad's commentary of it. See, and this is what you get with live betting. It just looks like he fell awkwardly, though.
He landed on the guy's helmet.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did land on his helmet. Good call, Vlad.
He landed on his helmet. Good job on the guy. He did not want to put his whole full weight on him because he would get the personal foul call.
Hey, Google, who's the backup quarterback for the San Diego Chargers?
It's Chase, baby.
Is it? It's Chase?
It's Chase Daniel, man.
Okay.
What are we waiting for?
All right. Google was too quiet. I couldn't hear it.
Google ain't Vlad. And mind you, what made it fun, what's weird is that Chase Daniel has already started his second career in TV. He was the NFL Network's Monday night guest.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was breaking down the Broncos and Seahawks, previewing it.
Well, I was even laughing watching Richard Sherman on the pregame here tonight because if somebody calls him, he may go take a job somewhere with a team anyway. I don't think Sherman's officially handed in his retirement papers.
He's done, though.
He might be, but he certainly hasn't retired yet officially. I can tell you that.
He's burnt. He's burnt toast.
So the Chargers now have jumped to plus 560 as a result of Justin Herbert going down. That number now down to plus 500, so maybe he was able to get up and walk off the field during the break. But plus 500 now on the Chargers. And the only betting available right now is that money line. Everything else is off the board. And I don't think there's a bet on whether or not Herbert comes back on the field or not. That'd be kind of mean. But what a wild finish we're in for. Whether he's on the field or not, San Diego's still going to have an opportunity to try and win this game. It'll be what will it be, second down? What happened there?
I don't recall.
All right. Because right now I got 5:01. I got 5:01 left to go in the fourth quarter. So we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll tell you what happens when we come back. Get you set up for the next hour of the show. We'll cover the post game as well as the Chargers trail the Chiefs 24-17 in Kansas City, the home opener for KC. Both teams 1-0 starting the season. A pick six in this game, obviously the big story. I see Herbert walking off the field under his own power. We'll see what happens as we return on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. This is Sports Map Radio. Yes. I would say nothing from the first hour. Yeah. Definitely the interview with Patrick McEnroe will be on there. Yes, I do still want you to send me the hour. Herbert coming back out.
Yeah.
He's tough. He's a football player.
Yeah, whatever. I really want them to score.
I know you do.
I want the over.
What do you say?
I take Dookie downtown.
Okay.
How is the salad?
Very good.
Oh no! Oh man!
Oh my
God! They're gonna kill. You better protect that man. Oh, he's hurt again. He took a shot. Jesus. They hurting that boy. Oh, Frank Clark. Oh my God.
I see him cover up too.
You know what's the sad part? Frank Clark was nice to him. He let up.
Oh.
his ribs are tenderized right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He almost threw right into fucking interception. What do you do now if you're the Chargers? Do you punt or do you go for it?
Got 3
Holy
timeouts.
shit, you
I
better
kick
punt.
it.
You better punt. He was going to, oh, man. He almost threw another pick six.
Yeah, 3 timeouts. You got to kick.
Oh, wow.
God.
He threw it. That's a pick six. How do you miss that? How do you miss that? That's a pick six.
That's why they're not wide receivers.
Oh, Rudy Gay. Oh, jeez. Not Rudy Gay. I'm sorry. What is his name?
Oh, my God.
Did he not?
I should have been down at like the 8, and they all ran by him. Yeah, that 7.5 is golden.
Not until Miko Hardman went an 80-yard touchdown.
That ain't happening.
Okay. For the fact that you say it ain't happening.
It ain't
watch it happen.
happening. You know it's not happening. I know you're hoping it does, but I mean,
It's going to happen right now.
for your sake, I hope I'm wrong, but it ain't going to happen.
Nah, it's going to be a handoff to Clyde.
Chargers are
Clyde,
plus 900 now. Well, they're not
But the
tending
what?
to him on the sideline.
No. Oops. That's a first down. That's
Oh.
a first down and more.
Oh,
He's
my
gone.
God!
He is gone.
No,
he
he
is
ain't
gone.
go. No,
Keep
there's a
going.
flag. There's a flag. There's a flag.
Oh,
We're coming back.
yeah, look at you. You was scared. Look at you. Holding.
Wow.
No, it's on the defense.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the call is. So anyway, 24-17 Chiefs on top of the Chargers. Wow. This has just gotten crazy. So the Chargers punted away to the Chiefs, who have it down around their own 15, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire just broke off a huge run on first down that's going to put the Chiefs well, I mean, look, they're not going to score. It's very unlikely they're going to score.
Wow.
There's a lot. I mean, there's really at this point it's about running out the clock. So they're going to run the football unless they get another long run and run it in for a touchdown.
They have to do it. Remember, they still have 3 timeouts left. That
Yeah.
penalty stopped the clock.
Yep.
They have
You
3
could get a field
timeouts.
goal. You could wind up with a field goal. And the ball's all the way down inside the 18. Yikes. Inside the
wanna run
20.
it. You might want to run it and let them score.
Well, yeah, that's a tricky situation. Chargers, by the way, plus 4,000 on the money line now. So the Chargers are going to drop this game, it looks like, barring something unforeseen. And that plus 7.5 I was telling you to bang, it is no longer safe.
Yeah.
That live bet at 7.5 with 8 minutes left is no longer safe. And again,
Page,
this is
the
why
mush.
it's so difficult.
He's the mush.
It happens. All right, that wraps up the first hour of the show. We'll see what happens over the final few minutes of this game. We'll come back and tell you about it. Next hour, Patrick McEnroe in about 40 minutes. I'm Jason Page. It's the Cash In on Sports Map Radio. Stay with us. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here.
If I'm Kansas City, I don't throw that ball.
No way.
They throw the ball.
throw it. How do you throw the football there? I mean, what kind of play call is that?
These motherfuckers are not genius.
How are but this isn't I don't understand. I just don't understand how you're throwing the football there.
Once he breaks to the outside, 24 gets a hold of him.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Puts his hands up. And I think he may have gotten away with
Vlad, you got to turn your volume down a little bit, otherwise I got to bring you down because I can't have it's going out like over the air.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it's all right. You didn't know. I just don't want to get hit with a copyright violation on YouTube or something.
And they're throwing again.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching it.
Oh my God. Now you call your timeout.
I mean, that's kind of like a running play, though. I mean, that's pretty safe. So you're going to get the field goal.
Well, you hope.
Yeah, I mean,
The way these kickers be kicking.
you get the
now,
field goal, and maybe you get the backdoor cover through the garbage touchdown, right? What was the number? What was the total?
No, I'm not gonna get it. The number was 52.5.
Oh, was it? Was that high?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't really high. I thought it was kind of low for both these teams, but there were certain points. I mean, luckily for Kansas City, they left 4 points when they went for that field goal on 4th and 1, but they got their touchdown.
Well, my plus 7.5 will still be in play, even if he makes it. Oh, somebody's warming. Oh, Chase Daniel's warming up.
Yeah,
that's not good.
He hurt, boy. Them ribs hurt.
Yeah, you could tell those last couple of throws he made. He was covering up those ribs.
That Frank Clark hit is the one that the first one. Ooh, he almost blocked that.
27-17.
It's 3:20 left. It's 2 possessions still left in this game. Yeah, I don't think he can go. Look, yeah, he said my ribs, boy.
Yep.
My ribs all fucked up. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's a wrap for Herbert.
No, he put his helmet on.
Did he?
Yeah, he's back. He's strong.
Yeah, it's Thursday Night Football, man.
Come on, man. Flat's got money on this. He needs to win. But my second half, taking the Chiefs minus 1.5 is great.
Sure is.
Shit, I saw that for the second half. I jumped on that. Now, say what you want about Mahomes, but that's pretty good numbers for a fucking mediocre game.
Yeah, but like yards per reception and stuff, it's a pretty mediocre.
Clearly, those teams, clearly the Chargers know they keep everything in front of them.
Yeah.
And now with no Tyreek, they're definitely going to keep everything in front of them.
It's just Patty's a really short kick.
Now, what do you do? I mean, even the way he's running is kind of weird.
Oh, yeah, he's hurt.
Do you blaze him up? Do you light his ass up?
Send everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like this Keenan Allen. You only got to really worry about is Mike Williams.
Yeah, but
they can't throw in the middle because they don't want to waste the clock. You know what I mean? They're trying to go out of bounds.
Well, they still got a timeout. Still got the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, timeout too. Yeah, but you want to keep that time. You want to have that 2-minute warning.
This game's going to come down to it. This game will come down to an onside kick.
See, yeah, nah. Ooh, hey now.
Wow.
Eckler moving.
Wow.
If he broke that tackle.
Yeah, this game's going to come down to an onside kick. They're scoring a touchdown. This thing's coming down to an onside kick. Or maybe, depending on where you get to, you kick the field goal and then do the onside kick.
I think you got to get the touchdown and just hope for the onside
I would
kick.
agree, but not everybody does that. Oh, wow, wide open. Stops the clock. You know the old saying, what's the prevent defense do? Prevents you from winning.
I see a pick six happening.
Oh, get out of bounds, dude. Got to get out of bounds there. Tried to cut it back upfield. That's a terrible decision. Getting rid of the football fast, though. He's not taking any more hits.
He hurt, dog.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how bad it is. If it's broken ribs, just bruised. Gotta run! Oh my God!
He can't.
Oh my God! He couldn't even slide forward and get it. That's terrible. Wow, that's nuts. Coming back. Hold on. It's a quick segment. Big fourth down coming up. We'll let you know what happens. Chargers trailing the Chiefs 27-17 in Thursday Night Football. Chargers need a yard or the game is basically over. Oh my God. Justin Herbert just threw a dart down the center of the field. Fourth down and 1. He throws basically a 40-yard. Oh my good, a strike.
40-yard
with his ribs are shot. He couldn't even run for a yard the play before. And then he just throws a pass that, it just defies logic. It really does.
So ball like that, Jason.
Especially with hurt ribs. Oh, he's got to be in so much pain. And the Chargers are on the doorstep trying to get a late touchdown to validate that Page plus 7.5 pick that we had 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Looking good. And again, I said to Vlad during the break, this game's going to come down to a field goal. It's going to come down to an onside kick. And it probably will. Although if they can get in the end zone, they're not going to have enough time.
Warning? They haven't used their timeout yet, right?
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
They just that was the 2-minute warning.
Oh,
so
that was the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, that was the 2-minute warning. I think they've got one timeout left. So they
do have one timeout.
Yeah, that's not enough though. They're going to have to go onside. Assuming they get into the end zone, which is not a foregone conclusion. The ball inside the 10. We'll keep you posted. First hour of the show, we did a ton on the live betting aspect of this game because what's the sense? We all know you're watching it. Anybody who's a big sports fan is watching this game tonight. So I said we're just going to go with it, and we'll talk about the game as it's moving along and get into the live betting angle of it. But in this hour, we'll have post-game reaction. We'll also hear from Patrick McEnroe, ESPN tennis analyst, on the retirement of Roger Federer. That's coming up about 30 minutes from now. But stick around. Lots more to do on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. This is Sports Map Radio. Oh, nice hit.
Still in
now
play.
you kick the field goal.
They have to.
That's exactly right.
Wow, big mistake.
They're going for it?
Yeah, 4th and goal.
No, that's terrible.
Timeout. This is horrible. Oh, he's got a man open. Touchdown.
Yeah, terrible call.
That's why we're here.
Oh my God.
That's why we're behind the mic.
Yeah. Wow. Said there'd be fireworks in the fourth quarter, by the way. Vlad, what'd you say the total is before the game?
52.5.
52.5? Well,
yeah,
if you get your miracle onside kick.
Unless they go for 2 here.
You said you had the over, right?
Yeah, I need the over.
Yeah. So
for the over is 52.5. I need a field goal.
Could happen. I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but at least here's the good news. You're still in the game.
You know, it'd be great. Onside kick return for a touchdown.
Oh, Jesus. You just call for every miracle imaginable and hope one of them's going to happen? You just drop the mic? Literally? Do a mic drop? There we go. Yo. Yes. Did I? Thank you. Chiefs got it. Wow. The Chargers had a look at the onside kick. The Chiefs player that initially made contact with the ball fumbled it. But the Chiefs were able to recover that fumble, and they're going to hang on and beat the Los Angeles Chargers 27-24. Wow. What a wild second half, and particularly a wild fourth quarter of this football game. 27-24 will be the final score. And by the way, if you listen to Jason Page when he said plus 7.5 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter on the live betting, you would be a winner. But maybe you didn't, and I'm sorry. But I'll tell you, here's the good news. And I'm not a fan of either of these teams. Clearly, as producer engineer John in Houston just told me, I called them the San Diego Chargers a couple of times in the first hour. Old habits die hard. As long as I don't say Tampa Bay Devil Rays, I'm still in good shape. But here's the great news about this Chiefs-Chargers game. We're going to get to see these guys playing against each other for probably another 10 years. I mean, think about that. And think about some of the great young quarterbacks in this game, and the great young quarterbacks in this league. And we're going to get to see these guys going toe-to-toe in this division twice a year for another 10 years. I mean, we're pretty lucky. And both of these franchises are lucky. I mean, Justin Herbert made the one mistake down near the goal line, and it cost him the game. The pick six that basically turned this game from a loss into a win for the Kansas City Chiefs on a night where, and look, if you're the Chiefs, you're happy because, you know, it's like winning with your starter, getting just 5 innings out of them. You know, it's akin to that because Patrick Mahomes did not have his best night. The Chargers did a good job, for the most part, containing this offense, which scored 17 points, and that was it. They get the pick six. I mean, you know, the Chargers, I know there's no moral victories, and they're going to say all the right things about being disappointed that they didn't win, but if you're the Chargers, you know you're right there with Kansas City, as these two teams will go toe-to-toe again later on in the year in Los Angeles. But the Chiefs get the first one of the year on the premiere of Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Prime Video. I'm sorry, you can't call it Amazon Prime. It's Prime Video. Heck of a game. 27-24. We'll keep an eye on the post game because I think the next story is Justin Herbert following this game. He might have finished it, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did some damage to his ribs on the play he was initially hurt on in the final few minutes of the fourth quarter. He took a nasty shot where he came down on the helmet of a would-be tackler, and it wouldn't even be would-be. He got tackled. But we'll see what the end result is for Herbert, and that's obviously a big storyline as we go into the postgame because the Chargers can ill afford to be without Justin Herbert for even a week. Think what you want of Chase Daniel, but They need Justin Herbert on the field. And if you're wondering about the Chargers' schedule following this game, they get the Jaguars next week in Los Angeles. So, hey, if you want to make an argument that the team could do without Justin Herbert for 1 week, maybe it's that game against Jacksonville in week 3. And then the following week, they're in Houston to take on the Texans. So maybe you want to make the argument you got a couple of games that if Justin Herbert's not ready, if the rib injury is more serious, because he looked like he was really hurt. There was a 3rd down and 1 where he had a wide open lane to run the football for a first down, and he couldn't do it. He simply threw the ball away because he could not run those couple of yards to pick up a first down, which tells you how badly he was hurt. And every time they showed him, he was either clutching his ribs or grimacing in pain. Oh, it's a final? WNBA? Do we have a WNBA update? Am I the only person that cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's all right.
the only one.
That's all right. How about the Connecticut Sun, though? They put a hundo up on the Aces tonight. They won 105-76. Here's the problem, by the way. Two of these 3 WNBA Finals games have been complete blowouts. Not the best thing not what you really want to see on your game's biggest stage. First game was close. The last 2 have been routs. So Connecticut will not get swept in the series. They trail 2-1. Game 4 of that series will be Sunday. Yeah, Game 4 will be Sunday back in Connecticut. So see what happens there. But the story tonight, Thursday Night Football, a win for the Kansas City Chiefs, 27-24 in the Thursday Night Football premiere on Amazon Prime. You guys want to talk about it? 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You can tweet at me throughout the show, at the back page if you want to hit me up there. Again, on Twitter, at the back page. If you want to talk about this victory for the Kansas City Chiefs, again, it's being able to win. It's being able to win on your, on nights where you don't have your best stuff. And there's no doubt about it. Kansas City didn't have their best stuff tonight, but it was certainly good enough. And they made a play when it mattered most. Defensively, the pick 6 for 100 yards that everybody will be talking about tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have the highlight probably before. Hey, do we have that? Hey, John, do we have the pick 6? Oh, come on, John. We enlisted you with one job. No pick 6 yet. We'll try and get it. Andrew Marchand, by the way, who critiques the media for the New York Daily News, I want to say, or the New York Post. I can never remember which it is. New York Post. Andrew Marchand, talking about the Thursday Night Football debut, said, for the NFL and Amazon, it's a win that the stream didn't crash and it worked. So there you go. I didn't have any issues, that's for sure. The broadcast was given that it was going to be network quality between Fred Godell, Al Michaels, and Kirk Herbstreit, and it was. So, some thoughts from people who follow the media, and I'm sure we'll hear all sorts of reviews on the game broadcast tonight. I got to be honest, it looked like any other network TV football broadcast. Apple TV has gone out of their way to try and make their baseball games look like a video game. If you've watched it. Vlad, have you watched any of the Apple TV baseball?
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, and they've gone out of their way to try to make it look like they've tried to make it look like a video game. And in some regards, it's kind of cool. Yeah. And in some regards, that's kind of cool. I haven't been crazy about the announcers, as I think a lot of people have had that gripe. But this tonight looked like your traditional network NFL broadcast pretty much from the get-go. No crazy bells and whistles. Remember when Fox Sports did the tracer on the puck? They were way ahead of their time, let's just say, right? But they tried it. And it obviously didn't go very well. But this was a traditional. This was your traditional game. Now everybody's on Twitter sharing their picks were winners. You always hear from the people whose picks were winners. You never hear from Twitter from the people whose picks were losses. They just kind of sleek back into their cave, their troll cave. And they don't say anything. If you get it right, oh, you're all over the place. Get it wrong, you just disappear. Go into hiding. That's essentially what you got. Kyrie Irving is in the news. Oh, God, I wish he wasn't in the news. But Kyrie Irving is in the news. I want to get to that coming up in a couple of minutes. I'm telling you, man. The Nets are just a hot mess. Kyrie is just a hot mess. I can't wait for the NBA season. That is the soap opera. That's when I wish I lived back in New York, because I'd love to be around. I'd love to be doing sports radio just in New York. So because that's going to be a 7 or an 8 month soap opera. What's going on in Brooklyn with the Nets? I'll tell you what Kyrie said. That's got everybody talking. We'll be joined about 18 minutes from now by my good friend Patrick McEnroe, who does a terrific job on tennis for ESPN. He's also a CNN contributor. Patrick McEnroe joins us to talk about the retirement of Roger Federer. Maybe we'll even get in a question on Serena Williams as well. Again, if you're just tuning in, getting in your car, leaving the bar, whatever it may be, maybe you had dinner at your parents', I don't know. It was a win for Kansas City tonight. They beat the Chargers 27-24 in Thursday Night Football to start week 2 of the NFL season. We'll follow the post-game news, find out what's going on with Justin Herbert, who injured his ribs late in this game. All of that as we continue on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. Glad to have you with us on this Thursday on Sports Map Radio. Okay.
Did you hear when I choked?
OM? Okay. No worries. Okay. Just keep him warm. I'll get him after the break. Did he say where he's calling from? Where? Oh, Texas. Okay. Okay. I'll just say Texas.
What? Hello?
Yeah, Vlad.
Did you hear when I choked?
Hold on, John. What'd you say, Vlad?
Did you hear when I choked?
No.
Oh my God, I was choking.
I heard the mic drop.
Yeah, that was me choking.
Oh. Yeah, you're alive, though. You made it.
Yeah, bro. Right when you said something right when I was taking a swig of coffee, and it went right down the wrong way.
Did you almost die?
Put it this way.
Did you see the light?
I didn't see the light, but my sister and my niece was like, they heard the choke. They were like, "What the hell's going on?"
Jesus.
It wasn't no regular. It was like, oh my God, you could tell. Well, yeah, it was one of those, man. I ain't gonna lie. As I've gotten older, that shortness. I was like, wait a minute, I feel shortness of breath here. Like
Jesus. Well, we have a caller, so we're actually going to take a call.
We got a caller?
Back. Yeah.
I texted Kansas City,
Okay.
wanting a player, but we'll see what's up.
And we're actually on in, I think we're on in Kansas City. Or we're on in Kansas. I don't remember. Now we might just be on in Kansas. Let me know. We'll keep an eye on the post game, see if we hear anything about Justin Herbert. 27-24, Chiefs hang on to beat the Chargers on Thursday Night Football. You want to talk about the game? We can do it. 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You can also tweet at the program at the back page if you got a thought on the game. I mean, look, obviously, the play of the game is the Herbert interception and the picks, basically the pick six. But I think there's plus sides for both of these teams coming out of this game. These teams are going to play each other a ton over the years. Obviously, a lot of talent on both squads. But tonight, Chiefs get the better of the Chargers. All right, let's go to the phones. Ohm is in Texas on Sports Map Radio with Jason Page. What's going on, Ohm? It's a great question. I mean, look, and you could talk about both of these teams having key players absent. Appreciate the call, you can talk about both of these teams. Vlad and I were talking about it before. Is this game different? Do the Chiefs kick a field goal from the 1 down 17-14 if Tyreek Hill's on the field? I mean, you can go both ways with that. And the Chargers moved the ball effectively throughout much of the night. They didn't really get much of a running game until late when Austin Eckler was able to break a couple of runs. But, yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen could have absolutely been a factor. But, I mean, like I said, you can both sides that with these two teams because they're both talented. They both still have a lot of talent, and they still also lost a couple of key pieces during the offseason. It's a good question, though. I mean, look, I could do the same thing with the Packers. Do they get their doors blown off in Minnesota on Sunday if Devontae Adams is on the field? I think we all know the answer. It's probably no. Do they lose? Maybe, but they certainly don't get thoroughly manhandled the way they did in that game. So you can run it both ways. You can do that with a lot of teams. Look, there's a lot of player movement in this league. You can't keep everybody. The salary cap is what it is. And you sometimes have to make difficult decisions. I mean, go to the Cowboys. Couldn't figure out a way to keep Amari Cooper? If they had, is the result on Sunday night different? Yeah, I know Michael Gallup's injured, and that obviously had a lot to do with the outcome of that game as well. But again, we can run this game on a lot of different teams where there's off-season movement. It's going to be a fun division, though. Man, that is going to be a fun division to watch. And we all know this is going to be a fun matchup to watch, really. Like I said, we get this for the next 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to be with you on the air for the next 10 years, but whoever's doing sports talk, they're going to get to watch this matchup over the course of the next 10 years. And that was a fun game, especially in the second half. If you told me I had to watch them play each other 5 times this year, somebody's going 3-2. Agree? If they play each other 5 times, Vlad, it's going to be 3-2.
4-1.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Kansas City 4-1.
Yeah, I don't think either team.
Chargers going to charge up. And they're gonna do something. Charger.
Yeah, but again, you could. I mean, look, you saw Patrick Mahomes make 2 plays tonight. One could have been a pick six. The other could have been a pick in the middle of the field. It could again. I think both of these teams have quarterbacks that are going to make plays that make you go wow, and plays that make you go ow from time to time just because of the way they play the game.
And you're right with that. But the fact of the matter is, I've seen Mahomes make more wild plays than out plays. And with the Chargers, I'm not even talking about Herbert, because that throw on 4th and 6. I mean, that throw on 4th and 1 was ridiculous. But the Chargers as an organization, Brandon Staley as a coach, there's always you're always wondering what the Chargers, and I was about to say San Diego, what's Los Angeles going to do to mess up this game? I mean, they've always found a way to mess up the games, man. Like that game against Tennessee a couple of years ago when they couldn't get the ball, they couldn't get 1 yard. They fumbled the ball, got the ball
I remember.
back, fumbled it again. They're always going to do something. So when you're branded with that as a franchise, as always finding a way to F it up until proven wrong, I'm always going to believe they're going to mess up.
Yeah, I'll go Kansas City 3-2 if they played each other 5 times this year. I mean, they're very evenly matched.
Evenly matched, but they're always going to find a way to mess up. That's why I'm going to go 4-1.
Well, then it would be 5-0 if they always are going to find a way to screw it up.
They'll find a way to mess up. They'll win the game. They'll win the game. Harrison Butker will miss a field goal.
Oh, God, remember all the bad field goal misses San Diego had for a number of years? Oh, my God, it was so painful.
It didn't stop when they moved to L.A. They still were missing field goals in L.A. It's just the Chargers organization.
Speaking of L.A., can I get a quick story on L.A. just before we get to Patrick McEnroe? Because we haven't got a ton of time here, so I'm not going to go. Joe Burrow was recently interviewed, and he said the atmosphere at the Super Bowl last year in Los Angeles felt like a dinner party. That's essentially his way of saying there was no atmosphere. And this is the problem with Los Angeles sports. You know, any type of sports in Los Angeles.
Now, is he talking about it from his experience in Baton Rouge? Or
No.
is he talking about his experience in Cincinnati? Because Cincinnati, no offense, love if we have any affiliates there. You know, shameless plug. But still, Cincinnati, it's not like Cincinnati's Los Angeles now.
No, but just in terms of the atmosphere of the fan base, the rabid energy around the fan base.
But Jason, you've been to Super Bowls. We've been to Super Bowls together. Man, there's no fan base there. This is a whole bunch of corporate guys, people bringing their side pieces to a week vacation. Come on, man. And there's nothing. There's no fan base. It's not the avid people, avid fans that go week in and week out, not 8 or 9 times a season. That's not that. Those are corporate people, man.
Well, he also, I mean, look, and I have to say, what does he have to compare it to? It's his first Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. It's his second year. So what is he comparing it to? The national championship
I
game?
think he probably expected there would be a much more enthusiastic Los Angeles crowd base there. And if he, and by the way, and hold on, and if he thinks that, then he was sadly mistaken to begin with.
No, if he thinks that, he not only was he sadly mistaken, but he needs to do some research.
But
it's the Super Bowl.
At the same time, you and I both know, I mean, Los Angeles crowds can be rather milquetoast. I mean, they're not. We're not.
A crowd is milquetoast?
Huh?
A Laker crowd is
Oh
milquetoast?
yeah. Most Los Angeles crowds are milquetoast.
they're
They
not.
get there
Lakers
late,
crowd-
and they get there late.
Lakers crowd is not milquetoast, and Dodger crowd are not milquetoast.
Oh
If you're
come
talking
on,
about
Dodger
the
crowds
Angels,
get there so late and they leave
don't matter.
early.
It don't matter.
It does matter.
Not in a playoff. Not when it's a real important game. Let's stop that. Stop that.
Nah, I've
When
seen
it's an
enough
important
of it.
game- No. Don't say that. When it's an important
No.
game, a postseason game, or a finals game, or a World Series game, they're not coming in late or they're not coming in late and leaving early. They're not doing that. Okay.
Beat
Let's
the
not do that. And
traffic.
I still want to know what Joe Burrow, like you said, is comparing that to, because he's keeping it real. I've heard about Joe Burrow the last 4 years. He's only had a national championship game, a rookie year when his leg got injured, and then a Super Bowl appearance. I don't know what he's comparing it to. But you're right. It is Los Angeles, a little pretentious,
A lot of
But it's the
pretentious.
but it's the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. No doubt. And we've been to Super Bowl weeks before.
As a matter of fact, hopefully we'll be returning to the place that the last time we went.
Phoenix. Well, I was at the Super Bowl in New York after that. I don't think you made it, but I was there because I was broadcasting from New York, obviously. All right, we're going to talk to Patrick McEnroe coming up here in just a minute. Get some thoughts with him, the ESPN tennis analyst. The retirement of Roger Federer, obviously big news on Thursday. We'll hear from Patrick McEnroe and see why this decision was made when it was made, and talk about the way that Roger Federer did it, because the way he did it was truly as Roger Federer as it gets. We're coming back. Oh my God, John, I got so lucky. I had the pot down, so I didn't even hear the music. Yeah, I totally got lucky. I turned it up. No, I turned it up, and I still heard music was playing, and I was like, we're coming back. Jesus. Yeah. Lucky. I don't have to dial him. It was a pre-tape. Yep, got it all in my hand.
All right, so I got 25 minutes.
You do. Bye.
All right.
Yep.
If I get a guess, I'll let you know, text or something.
Yeah, just text me. Don't obviously come on the mic.
All right. Yeah.
We roll along on this Thursday night. Take a break for some of the football talk, only because arguably the greatest men's tennis player ever is it up after a amazing career and about $1 billion in earnings. Roger Federer has done it all, and I said it today. We roll along on this Thursday night. Take a break for some of the football talk, only because arguably the greatest men's tennis player ever has decided to hang it up after a amazing career and about $1 billion in earnings. Roger Federer has done it all. And I said it today that his retirement announcement was hands down one of the best. I'll talk about it here in just a second. With the great Patrick McEnroe, who joins us here for a few minutes on the show, ESPN tennis analyst. And little did I know until just before we came on the air to interview him, he and John McEnroe are Laver Cup captains for the American squad,
Right.
which I didn't even know, because he's saying he's going to the Laver Cup. So first of all, Congratulations on a great U.S. Open. It was so much fun watching it. There were so many riveting matches and so many great moments from this tournament, with Carlos Alcaraz winning this year's event and becoming the youngest ranked number one player in the world at just the age of 19. And we'll get to that in a second. But start with the news of Federer. And the first thing I thought of today is, with all the way people retire today, the farewell tours. And look, I'm not saying that Serena didn't deserve every bit of what she got in terms of, all the fanfare and all the hoopla surrounding her retirement. Everybody chooses to do it a different way. But this was done in such a Roger Federer way, wasn't it?
Well, he's all class. And by the way, he's still, even though he hasn't hit a tennis ball in a competitive match in well over a year, by far, as if you believe what you read in Forbes, the highest paid athlete on the planet. And I don't think that's going to change, because he's that big, he's that popular with what he's done on the tennis court, but because of who he is and what he's done off the court. So, yes, you're right, Jason. It was typical Federer, which is humble, which is real, which is honest. And I think that's part of why he is the most recognizable athlete on the planet, or the most well paid, because he gets it. He gets it on every level. And I think he's genuine. He's genuine. He's an authentic person. I know him a little bit. I've got to know him a little bit over the years. And, he treats people within the tennis establishment with so much respect. People that, like a guy like me who has nothing. I'm not related to him with my tennis play or my life experience as a player in any way. But he gets it. Like, he just respects people, and he loves the game. He loves the history of the game. He loves everything about it. And I think it's his passion for the game that makes him who he is, in addition to obviously being one of the greatest players that's ever picked up a racket.
You had to have crossed over, though. His career spans a long time. You guys had to have crossed over a little bit, didn't you?
I'm a little older, Jason.
No, so, you're not. Come on.
Yes, I am. I'm 56.
I know that.
41. Yeah.
But
by the time he started playing, I was already in broadcasting, and I was actually one of the first times I saw him up close and personal was when my first year I was the Davis Cup captain, which was in the early 2000s. And we went, and the first match that we had in Davis Cup that year was the U.S. against Switzerland, in Basel, which is where he's from. And I remember watching him. He just dismantled our team, as a teenager. And I thought to myself, this guy's freaking good. Who is this guy? This guy's got skills that I've never seen before. And I'll tell you one more story before we just get into, his greatness. Sure. And I think how he's changing it. When I first started in broadcasting, Jason, one of my first jobs was CBS, being sort of the sideline guy. And CBS at that time covered the Cincinnati tournament, which is one of the big events, leading up to the U.S. Open. So I was the sideline guy, and Federer just absolutely destroyed James Blake in the final, 6-1, 6-2 or something. The match took like 50 minutes. And I went to interview Roger after the match. And the match went so fast that the CBS producer was going crazy. Oh, we this is too fast. We got to fill 2 hours. So I went and I sat down on the bench next to Federer. He shook hands. And they said, you got to do the interview before we do the trophy presentation. So I said, listen, Roger, I said, first of all, well done, great match. I said, you whipped Blake so quickly. Is it okay if I, ask you a few more questions than normal, in the post-match interview? He goes, oh, yeah, no problem, Patrick, no problem. And then he looks at me and he says, the crowd's going crazy and they're setting up for the trophy. And he says, I ball boyed for you. I said,
wow.
Excuse me? I said, what? He goes, yeah, in Basel, because he's from Basel. He goes, you played the final one year. I said, yeah, that's right. I played Wayne Ferreira in the final. I said, you must have been rooting for me, right? He goes, well, he gave me that little sheepish grin of his. And he said, Well, no, actually, I wasn't because my mom's South African and Wayne Ferreira is South African, so I wasn't rooting for you at all. And I said, "You're unbelievable." So there's actually a video, okay, that some people have been posting today, because Roger said in his message today to the world, one of the things he says, "I'll always be a ball boy at heart," like that little kid. And there's literally a video of him scampering to get the ball, and who is walking to the sideline to the changeover was me. And I'm like, this is like little did I know, right? I had no idea that like Roger freaking Federer was ball boying for me at this time. But that tells you about Roger. Like in that moment when I went to interview him, like he wasn't thinking about the tournament, or he just destroyed James Blake and he was dominating him. He made it personal to me, to little old me. And he's done that just with so many people in the tennis world, and then obviously in the sports world and the world in general. And that's why he's as beloved as he is all over the world.
Patrick McEnroe, ESPN tennis analyst, joining us here on the Cash In Sports Map Radio, the Sports Map Radio app as well. Was it a scenario where he just exhausted every possibility to get back onto the court and be competitive and couldn't? Or did it just get to a point where he realized, even if I do exhaust every opportunity, I'm 41. What are the chances he's going to be able to be as competitive as he would expect himself to be?
I believe it's the former, Jason, without having spoken to Roger, but just with what I know about him and what I've heard through my various sources over the course of the last, 6 to 9 months, when he was training extremely hard and doing everything he could to give himself the possibility to do it one more time, to be Roger Federer one more time. And you brought up a great point about Serena, and the Serena send-off at the Open was awesome. It was great for the sport. It was great for tennis. It was great for her. And it got a huge buzz going about the tournament, which then catapulted, I believe, to another level with Alcaraz and the way the tournament unfolded. That being said, I never really believed that Serena could win the tournament. Okay. It was great to see her be competitive. And I think the fact that she was competitive, she might even be thinking about coming back, which is another story for another day. But Federer, I believe he doesn't want to just come and play a couple of matches. If he was going to come back, he wanted to come back to where he could legitimately say, I've got a shot. Not necessarily I'm going to win Wimbledon, but I've got a shot to win Wimbledon or the U.S. Open, that I can be competitive with the best players in the world. And I think when the reality hit as he was going through all the and what people don't realize about Roger Federer, Jason, is that this guy's tough and he wants it and he's done all the work. Because you watch him play for so many years and you're looking at this guy and like, this looks so easy. He's like Fred Astaire in a tennis outfit. How does he do this? How does he make this look so effortless? But he did it, because he's got incredible genetic ability, but also because he put the work in and he managed himself over the years, which is why he had some of his best years in his 30s. And so I think the writing for him was on the wall that wasn't going to happen. And then he made the decision to pull the plug at the Laver Cup, which is an event that he started basically because he has so much respect for Rod Laver, who's the last male player to win the Grand Slam. And he did it twice in his career, that he didn't think Rod Laver was getting his due as an all-time great. So he started this event. So it's fitting. It's going to be amazing, Jason. I'm going to be there, as sort of on the other team, but it's really going to be about him and about tennis. And Djokovic is going to be there. Nadal's going to be there. Andy Murray's going to be there on his team. There's not going to be a dry eye in the house, when Roger takes the court. It's going to be incredible.
Do you lament the fact or regret the fact that we're not going to get to see him one more time in a major and have that sort of special send-off? Because, look, let's be honest. It's a wonderful event in the tennis world, but it doesn't have the gravitas of those majors, of those Grand Slams.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that something that you lament, that he couldn't find a way to get into a position where he could have that sort of special send-off on the biggest stage?
I lament it for the good of the sport, yeah, and for him personally, because I think he wanted that, and I think he worked as hard as he could, and he would have worked even harder if he thought it was possible. Because Serena, sort of got that at the U.S. Open, which, as you rightly said, she deserved. She's the greatest of all time, and I think Roger deserved that. But it's not going to happen, and and that's life, and that's part of also what he said in his message. And it's part of what makes him who he is that he's human. And he cried when he lost in the Australian Open final to Nadal. And he cried when he beat Nadal in the Australian Open final. And all of a sudden, that was okay. For an all-time athlete to show himself, to show his emotions, and to say, as he did in his message today, he's had some of, the greatest victories and some of the toughest defeats. But he always lived. He felt like he was living it. And I think he appreciated it more than any other great player that I've ever known or been around. Roger Federer loved the game of tennis. He just loved to play tennis. Pete Sampras loved to win at tennis. My brother was tortured by tennis in a way, but he loved to compete. He loved the battle. Connors loved the battle. Agassi loved to just, go out there and do his thing. Nadal is like the ultimate competitor, right? Djokovic is his own being. He's just combines all of it in some way. But Federer just loves to hit the tennis ball, whether he's competing or not. He just loves to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of him. And I think that's why so many people, Jason, are so affected by what he's done.
Yeah.
Not because he's such a great player. I mean, that's obvious. But because of who he is and sort of his demeanor of how he's gone about it for so many years.
And interestingly enough, you mentioned Jimmy Connors. The only person to win more ATP tournaments than Roger Federer is Jimmy Connors, who I think won 109, which is an insane number. And that was at a time where everybody played all the time and whatnot. But it's kind of an amazing number when you think about it, what Connors was able to do in the course of his career as well. Talking with Patrick McEnroe. One last one. I only got about 60 seconds here. You mentioned Serena, and I don't want to shortchange this whole thing with her kind of hedging on coming out of retirement. Yes or no, will we see her in another Grand Slam event as a singles player?
I believe we will. I mean, but that's just my opinion. I have no inside information. I just think that she saw at the U.S. Open that if she worked and played as she did for a couple of weeks leading into the tournament, that she could actually still compete at the high. Now, again, can she win another one? I still think that's a stretch at her age, just like Federer figured it out. But, I think that she saw, wow, I could actually still do this. So that would be my pick. I mean, she can do whatever she wants. She's Serena. I mean, she's going to have plenty of options, obviously, in the rest of her life. And what she's done for tennis is no matter if she ever touches the racket again, it doesn't matter. But if you're just asking me my opinion, I believe she will play again.
Great stuff from Patrick McEnroe, ESPN tennis analyst. Enjoy the Laver Cup, my friend. Always good to catch up.
You got it, my friend. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll come back. More to do on the Cash In on the SportsMap Radio Network. Papa Dukes. What's up, Papa Dukes? Good boy. Another hour starts right now. Final hour of this Thursday/Friday show. Good to have you along for the ride. Story of the night, 27-24. Chargers fall to the Chiefs in Kansas City. 99-yard interception return for a touchdown, the play of the game. Hey, John, can we get that dialed up? Let me hear what it sounded like. Wow. Al Michaels, the call. Prime Video. And that's how it sounded. 99 yards back to the house. And again, there's some dispute as to who's at fault for that. The receiver kind of hangs, Herbert out to dry. You could say, well, Herbert's got to see him. Well, I mean, he's scanning the whole field. I'll go probably more with what Tony Gonzalez said in the postgame on Prime Video, where he said, if you're the receiver, you got to buck up in that spot. Unless you've just been shot by somebody in the middle level of Arrowhead Stadium and you just got shot in the kidneys, you cannot leave your quarterback hung out to dry on the 1 yard line. You just can't. But regardless, it's the play of the game. And again, the narrative is the Chargers always figure out ways to lose these games. And that's not going to be helped by anything that happened tonight. They dropped a couple of easy interceptions that they could have gotten out of Patrick Mahomes, who after the game even said, I'm glad they didn't catch him. What is he going to say? We're keeping an eye on the podium in Kansas City for Chiefs head coach Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We'll go to those press conferences in this hour. We also have an update on Justin Herbert. We'll give that to you as we continue in this final hour of the Cash In. I'm Jason Page. This is Sports Map Radio. Yeah, once I get Andy Reid or somebody on the podium with Mahomes stuff, I'll just go to it. Yep.
Yo. Vahi Gregorian couldn't come on with us.
It's that guy in San Diego, right?
Kansas City.
Oh, okay. What's his name?
I tried to decide. Vahi Gregorian. We got him on.
I remember him. him.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, like I said, they're up against the deadline because of
Who's he with?
Kansas City each star. I tried the Chiefs sideline reporter.
Yeah, I know that what's his name? Verderam's actually doing a show right now. Post game.
Oh, okay.
I checked his Twitter.
His,
He's actually
Twitter.
yeah, he's
That's
hosting.
what I've been doing.
He's hosting like a Chiefs post game thing.
So I try to get this the sideline reporter.
You didn't know what time? It's just going to be whenever he's ready, or what?
Who?
Gregorian.
No, he can't come on.
Oh, he can't. Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you said he could.
No, I'm saying no, he can't because of the deadline.
Gotcha. All right, no worries. I've got my eye on Chargers post game. So when Reed or Mahomes hits the podium, I'm going to go to it. And there's an update on Herbert.
What is it?
Nothing definitive. X-rays tomorrow.
Bruised ribs. He'll be wearing a flap jacket. They sauteed those ribs.
Thank you, Chad Erickson, and thank you to you for listening tonight. Wherever you are, listening to Sports Map Radio, like Ohm earlier, who was driving around in his truck around Texas, or if you're streaming the show on the Sports Map Radio app, easy for me to say, or you're watching us on Twitch, Jason Page 77 there, or our Decibel 88 YouTube channel, our Decibel 88 Facebook channel, at the back page on Twitter. There's so many ways to consume this show. There's really no excuse for you not to check it out. And what we did tonight was kind of cool. During the football game, we just talked about the game, the entire game, because that's what everybody's talking about and everybody's going to be paying attention to. By the way, no offense to the WNBA. What are you doing scheduling Game 3 of your WNBA finals up against Thursday Night Football? That's just not smart. I mean, it's hard enough to get people to watch the WNBA, but you put it up against that Thursday night game with those two teams playing. It's not the best decision I've ever seen a team make. We're keeping an eye on the podium in Kansas City for Chiefs post-game. If we see Andy Reid on the podium, we will get it for you. Simple as that. But the news out of this game, beyond the fact, obviously, that the Chiefs were able to hold off the Chargers 27-24, is the injury to Justin Herbert. And it looked pretty nasty. I mean, he was clearly hurting. His ribs were clearly injured late in this game. And the question is, how badly are those ribs hurt? And what we're getting so far from the Chargers is that he's banged up. They're going to do X-rays tomorrow. Nothing definitive. And if you're wondering what that means for the numbers in Vegas, it means the game is off the board. Simple as that. If you look right now on FanDuel Sportsbook, San Diego, not on the board for week 3. Just checking again to double check that and make sure nothing's changed. Nothing is there. Largest spread as of right now for next week, Vlad. Can you guess what it is? Don't look.
Largest spread for next week.
No, but then again, you'd have to know what all the games are. That's not fair.
Know what the games
yeah,
are.
yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair. I can't do that to you. I still will, but it's Falcons and Rams, which is the only double-digit game. It's 10.
No, wait a minute, time out.
Yeah.
That can't be next week. You're talking next week is week 2. That would be week 3. We're already in week 2.
No, I'm talking about week 2. I'm talking about week 2.
That's not right. You should have. You messed up. You messed
Why?
up.
What did
with
I
the
say?
question. You said next week.
When I meant next week, I meant the rest of this week. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know. I get it. The
already
question
know what
was
the schedule
misleading.
is.
Yes, I get it. This is officially the start of week 2. I know what you're saying.
Gee, I know what this week. I know the schedule this week. I would have been able to tell you that.
Falcons plus 10.5 in Los Angeles against the Rams.
And what would be the second highest? Would that the Cowboys and Bengals would be the second highest?
Mm.
Because Bengals are favored by 7.5 on the road. It's crazy.
No. There's a couple of 9.5s.
Ooh.
There's a couple of 9.5s. Houston.
You know.
Houston is getting 9.5 in Denver.
Okay.
You
know what the craziest line is?
What?
New England's favorite against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Nobody believes in the Steelers.
Do you
Just
believe
tells
in
you.
the Patriots?
Well, not the way they're protecting Mac Jones right now,
So that's what I'm saying.
who is on his
Don't you
ass
think-
every 5
don't you
minutes.
love home dogs?
I do like home dogs,
Yeah.
but the loss of T.J. Watt, we'll see how that impacts that team.
They'll still, and the Patriots won't have anybody to throw to.
Tennessee,
Those are-
by the way, Tennessee is getting 9.5
Against
in Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Chicago's getting 9.5 in Green Bay, and I mentioned Houston getting 9.5 in Denver. Those are the other 3 big spreads of the week. Of those 3 9.5 point spreads, which one would you give the best chance to cover of the dogs? It's an interesting
Titans
question.
could cover.
I think the Titans could too.
Only because they play Buffalo well for some
Yeah.
reason. Like they match up very well. I don't, even though Atlanta, I think the Rams are gonna they're gonna take their frustration out on them.
Woodshed. That does feel like a woodshed kind of game. Yeah, I agree.
And what's the other one again? It's Houston versus Denver.
Houston,
that has a Denver with the bad taste in their mouth after that Monday night appearance. First home game, Russell's gonna show out. That's a blowout. That has 30-13 written all over it.
Then why is that spread so low? 9.5's awful low. If 30-13 winds up being the final, it would mean Vegas got it terribly wrong.
No, Denver got it. I mean, they got it right.
No, because if that was the case, the spread should be like 16 or 17.
We're going.
Then you're
by
saying
what
it's
the
an easy
talent is.
pick. But then you're saying, but I mean, by that logic, you're saying it's a stone cold lock if you think it's going to be 30-13.
Yes, because I'm using Vlad variables, meaning that they just lost. They lost Monday night. I think they're a better team than Houston. This is a home opener, and I'm going to take into consideration how they lost, and they're going against a lowly team. Yes, I think they're going to win.
The double V. The double V. It's called the Vlad variables, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
Vlad variables. There it is. So yeah. And I like the fact it's 9.5, Jason, because that avoids the backdoor cover. 10. Could you imagine if it was 10 or 10.5? All you got to win is by 10.
That would be what 9.5 usually means.
That actually saves you. This is a great line. This is a great weekend to bet. If they're giving you 9.5 lines, like they're giving you 9.5 spreads, that means all you got to do is win by 10, 2 possessions. That's it.
See, if you ask me, Denver, Houston, or Green Bay, Chicago, I'd probably go Green Bay, Chicago first.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah, I would take Green Bay if I had to. Now, I'm not saying this would be one of Paige's picks. We'll do that tomorrow. I was 2-2 last week on the show, by the way. If you gave me Rupert Murdoch's money, or if you gave me Jeff Bezos's money, and said go and take the 9.5 either for Houston or for Chicago, either take the 9.5 in the Houston Denver game or the Green Bay Chicago game, I would take Green Bay minus the 9.5. I could see that one getting
So
ugly.
you're going to use Page variables of the fact that Green Bay's coming off a loss, division rival, Rodgers owns the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. the same way I would also take that.
Because Denver, I know you can make the argument that both teams' offenses struggled in the first game. So, they're both – I can understand coming from that position, but I find it hard to believe. And I look at the way Aaron Rodgers bounced back after week 1 last year and that loss against the Saints, and I think he'll do the same in this game. I'd be very surprised.
It's the same script all the time. Aaron Rodgers plays bad opening week. The next game is in Green Bay. They open it against a division rival. Everybody, all the questions the week leading up to the game is has Aaron slipped? What's wrong with the Packers? What's wrong with the offense? Then he'll throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and everything will be back to normal. Happened last year against Detroit, Monday night, after the loss to the Saints. Happened at the same time when he told everybody to RELAX, relax. Same script.
All right, well, keep an eye on post-game. I've got a couple NBA items to get to. One kind of relates to the WNBA, but it has nothing to do with the WNBA Finals. It has to do with this Robert Sarver story. We'll get into that a little bit. Kyrie Irving, Mr. Flat Earther himself, doing more things that just leave people scratching their heads. We'll get into that, too. I'm Jason Page. The cash-in continues on Sports Map Radio.
As far as the injuries go,
stand by, come back.
Okay.
Andy Reid just took to the podium a short time ago. Here's what he had to say post-game after a Chiefs 27-24 win over the Chargers.
Right. As far as the injuries go, we've got a couple. Mike Dana strained his calf, and then, I mean, really for the most part, that was it. Hardman hurt his ankle on the one deep one. Scanling had a little bit of a glute. All these guys came back in. Justin Watson on the onside kick hurt his shoulder just a little bit. So, but listen, all in all, great win. For whatever reason, we like to keep it real close with these guys, and they're a heck of a football team. So glad we came out on the right end of it. The crowd was phenomenal. And they just kept bringing it and bringing it. I thought our defense kept bringing it and bringing it, and especially the second half. The thing I'm probably most proud of was we all stuck together, and nobody was pointing fingers at each other. And then you have the Watson and Watson thing too. One new player and one young player step up and make huge plays for us. So. And then listen, Boomer got to see his first game in Arrowhead, huh? He's been doing it a couple of years, so I'm glad he's here. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
With regard to Jalen Watson, who told you this kind of thing wasn't too big for him at this point in his career?
Yeah, he had a good camp. You saw him progressively get better during camp. He played obviously at a high level in college. So I mean, Pac there. So he's played against good competition. So I think it was probably Adam most of all just his progress that he made in camp. Good size, can run. You saw that after the interception. That was beautiful. I've got to tell you, I thought our D-line and offensive line battled like crazy. Our defense hit that quarterback, who is a mobile guy and a great player, to where he was a very sore guy by the end of the game. And, I was proud of the guys for that relentless play. Also Clyde, who's on offense. Clyde had some real good yards for us. Smart at the end. He went down there, so although we had to put there as a penalty on the play. Anyways.
That play was pretty pivotal from Jalen. I mean, how much did you feel the game changed on that? And you get to talk.
Yeah, well, it was big. I mean, you're down. I mean, they get another score. Whether they have 24. Yeah, so I mean, that was important. Big play.
All right, so that's Andy Reid going through some of the post game, and obviously the play from Jalen Watson, the 99-yard interception return for a touchdown. That's what everybody's talking about, and talking about just getting constant pressure on Justin Herbert, who, by the way, gets hurt on that play where he falls on the helmet of the defensive player who's trying to take him down. And then the very next play, he gets blown up. Now, if you want to say, hey, one play, guy gets through, there's no way. After that play, when you see your quarterback go down in a heap, they have to take an injury timeout, he comes off the field, and then you see that guy come back into the game after a play like that, and you can't keep him from getting blitzed and knocked down again, you as an offensive line have got to take a look in the mirror. That can't happen. Those guys have got to take stock, because there's no way after Herbert gets blown up and hurts his ribs that you can let him get hit on the very next play from scrimmage. You can't do it. And, of all the things I saw tonight that really bothered me, that bothered me the most. And as I said, Tony Gonzalez in the postgame, he's blaming the receiver on that play. He's not taking Herbert to task, because he's saying, if you're hurt in that spot, okay, fine, you might be hurt. You can't give up on a play altogether and hang your quarterback out to dry. You can't. And I think it's a fair point. I mean, if you're that hurt, somebody's got to call timeout in that spot. I mean, there's so many ways that play went sideways. And then you get the pick six, right there to basically turn the whole game around. And that's it. That's the play everybody will be talking about. But again, the theme and the narrative is that the San Diego Chargers keep finding ways to lose these games. I think they were 1-5 in games decided by 3 or less or 7 or less. I can't remember the exact number, but they're just terrible in close games. And it goes into that narrative that they just find ways to lose close games. And until you break that narrative, it's one that's going to be hanging around out there. Did you watch the game? What'd you think? 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You can tweet at the show at the back page. Also, say this. For everything they did in week 1, and granted, you can look around and say, hey, the Chiefs only scored 17 points on offense in this game. Or 20 points, whatever it was, on offense in this game. So the Chargers did a good job defensively. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, were they in witness protection? Because they were non-existent. They were hidden away in this game. And a lot of that was the play calling from the Chiefs offensively in the first half, where they were just getting rid of the ball quickly. They weren't going to allow those guys to be a factor. And then in the second half, they started to open up the offense a little more. But in the first half, those guys were getting mixed up in the wash, basically, because it was quick drops, quick passes, not a lot of deep drops, not a lot of time where you had Patrick Mahomes exposed for those guys to go and get. So credit to the Chiefs for protecting their quarterback in that situation, knowing the kind of players that Bosa and Mack are and what they were able to do in week 1. The Chiefs quickly learned. The answer to that is just get rid of the football quickly. And again, it probably wasn't the offensive showing you'd like to see for this Kansas City Chiefs team. But I'll say it again. The first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, teams are just figuring it out. Again, nobody's playing in the preseason. This was a big topic of conversation yesterday in the sports media, this whole topic of guys not playing in the preseason. And what we've seen as a result of that is guys that didn't play in the preseason, teams that didn't play their starters in the preseason. I think there was some crazy number thrown out there, 3-8, I think it was, or I forget what the number was. But it was a bad winning percentage. But it isn't anything that's been studied year after year after year, so there's no real scientific data to back up whether it means teams should be playing their starters more during the preseason or not. But it's difficult to argue that there's been a lot of sloppy, subpar play, even from the good teams in the league. Yeah, Kansas City was good in week 1. How were they tonight, though, offensively? They weren't that good. Even look at Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Yeah, they won the game. But how good were they offensively? Even Brady will tell you, they didn't play that good. They didn't play that well. And this is a problem around the league, trying to figure out that balance, because what you essentially wind up with is weeks 1 and 2 being extended preseason, where guys are just getting their wind. They're just getting used to playing 60 minutes. They're gassed by the fourth quarter. You see more points scored. And I think it's a product of lack of playing in the preseason. And I think it'll be an interesting story to watch next year and next preseason if teams sort of learn from this. 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You can tweet at the show, as I said. Hit me up at the back page if you're looking to get at me on Twitter. And as I like to tell everybody, there's another reason to follow me on Twitter, and that is this. You win free stuff. If you send a note, just follow me on Twitter, send me a note. You do that, you might win something. Every Wednesday we give away free stuff on the show. We've been giving away baseball cards. We've been giving away football cards. Just follow me on Twitter at the back page. We'll send you a note. Well, rather send me a note on Twitter. Might win a prize next Wednesday when we give away something. We'll have to see. All right, I promised I do have some NBA notes that I want to get to. There's an update in the Robert Sarver story as it relates to the Phoenix Suns, now banned Phoenix Suns owner, who's going to be banned for a year, a $10 million fine. I've said I think this story is going to continue, and I think you're starting to see the signs of just how that might take place. Players starting to comment. Still haven't seen any sponsors drop out. But there's more to come on this story. You can count on it. We'll get to that. Give you anything else that comes out of the post game in Kansas City, where the Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24. I'm Jason Page. This is the Cash In on Sports Map Radio.
Are we on the stream?
What's up?
We're not on the stream, are we?
We are on the stream, but I can check. Well, just when you thought Kyrie Irving couldn't get any more ridiculous, he has. So Kyrie has shared a 2002 InfoWars video on Thursday in which mega conspiracy theorist Alex Jones goes off about secret societies, corrupt empires, and government overlords supposedly wanting worldwide rule in a cashless society, total and complete tyranny. If you know anything about Alex Jones, if you don't know who Alex Jones is, you're lucky. And if you do, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. But apparently, he had some rambling video about 20 years ago talking about the government becoming God. Basically, it comes to your health and releases diseases and viruses. I mean, he is the ultimate conspiracy theorist. And apparently, that was something that resonated with Kyrie Irving, who decided to share it on his social media. So, again, consider the source. Talking about a flat earther in Kyrie Irving who has his own issues. And, hey, man, you're free to post what you want, but it just blows the mind sometimes when you see how lost some people are in their own worlds, I guess. Suns minority owner Jahm Najafi is calling for Robert Sarver to resign. The Suns vice chairman, he is the second largest stakeholder, still a minority stakeholder. He is saying Robert Sarver's resignation should take place. He put it in an open letter to team employees. It was released tonight, saying there should be zero tolerance for lewd, misogynistic, and racist conduct in any workplace. Of course, we all know Sarver was banned for 1 year, fined $10 million. I still think this story is a long way from being over. I think there's going to be more fallout from it. And it may, look, maybe it gets to there's two ways it could go. Sarver could just say, hey, I'll sell the team, make tons of money. I don't know what he bought it for, how much he bought it for, but it's worth a lot more now. All these NBA teams are. And if Sarver elects to sell it, he's obviously going to make a profit. Maybe at some point he just says, I don't want the headache, I'll sell it. Or he digs in his heels and says, screw you guys, you're not going to force me to sell. And decides to hang on. Similar conduct by any CEO, executive director, president, teacher, coach, or any other position of leadership would warrant immediate termination, Najafi wrote in the letter. The fact that Robert Sarver owns the team does not give him license to treat others differently than any other leader. The fact that anyone would find him fit to lead because of this ownership position is forgetting that NBA teams belong to the communities they serve. Team investors are merely temporary stewards. If we as sports leaders are not held to the same standards, then how can we expect a functional society with integrity and respect on any level? We owe it to you, employees, players, partners, and your families to provide the same positive workplace environment we would require of any other business. That is part of what the letter reads. And now we'll wait to see if any other dominoes fall in this story. And Najafi has been outspoken on this before. I don't know if, he's looking to eventually own the team. Who knows if he's got other motivations involved, but that is a loud statement from a minority owner. That's a loud statement from the minority owner of that team.
Sarver bought the Suns in 2004 for a then record $401 million.
It's got to be $1 billion franchise now, doesn't it?
It's over $1 billion.
I wonder if there's a valuation on it anywhere.
I mean, who's the highest value NBA franchise right now?
Probably the Knicks or the Lakers.
Knicks or the Lakers, right?
Yeah. Yep. Phoenix Suns franchise valuation. I'll give it to you right now. Because Forbes does these things every year.
Right. They just did it.
There you go. Ready?
The whole team.
Wow, I was wrong. Was I wrong? So he bought it for how much did you say? $400 million how long ago?
$401 million in 2004. It's got to be at least $4.4 billion.
No. It's not that much. Forbes estimates the Suns are worth $1.8 billion. So that would be a 400% increase from when he bought it. Not a lot of things you can invest in that go from $400 million to 1.8 billion in 18 years. And that, by the way, that 1.8 billion, I'll do you one better, Vlad. That 1.8 billion makes it the 18th most valuable franchise in the NBA.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, the Sporting News did it. They did a report on this early this year.
I mean, that's crazy.
June of this year. Yeah, the number one team is the Knicks, 5.8. Second is the Warriors, 5.6. The Lakers.
Wow, the Warriors are second.
5.5. Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. They won 4 titles. They opened the Chase Center. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
anybody that's involved with Chase is in the top 2.
Yeah, no, I get the, you know, the fact that they're in that market and the new arena obviously helps. But I mean, I can't necessarily equate titles with it because the Spurs were winning titles for years and they were never that valuable. So I'm sure it has something to do with market size.
Of course,
and the Bay Area
market,
obviously,
you're talking about the Bay Area, all the web and techies out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1 point.
So it's only 1 point. Damn, really?
Yeah.
1 point,
but that's still
billion?
a 400.
That's
over 400. That's 450% that he made on that investment from 18 years ago. I mean, and then you even ask yourself the question: why are you hanging around? Yeah. See, but that to me says if you're hanging around at that point, you're hanging around just to try and say you're not going to push me out, because obviously at that point you've made your money.
What? Well, Paige, why is Dan Snyder still wanting to be the owner of the Washington Commanders?
Same thing.
Okay, exactly.
Absolutely, and there is clearly not the appetite by the NFL to push him out the door.
And maybe there's not an appetite by the NBA to push them out the door.
Well, I'll tell you this:
there's 32 skeletons in those closets. Okay.
Oh,
there's 30
absolutely.
Skeletons in the NBA closet. Nobody. If one of those closets open, they don't want the other closets to open. So that's why they try to shut it down, sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for that. It's like the whole email thing in Washington. And the NFL rode out that storm and said, you know what? We're just going to wait. And they waited, and it went away. By and large, it went away. Yeah, there's some things that have been going on in the courts to try and force because Gruden sued and trying to get certain things released. But by and large, nobody's talking about that story. And trust me, as soon as we get to NBA training camps, this Phoenix Suns story, unless you see sponsors drop out and unless you see players call for his resignation, this will go away too.
Yeah, no, it's going away. It'll be gone by Sunday.
The old saying, this too shall pass. Oh, I don't know about Sunday. That's a little It's
going to be gone by Sunday. They'll be gone by tomorrow.
No, I don't think it will.
Yes, it'll be gone by tomorrow. Only brought up again when they open training camp in a week and a half.
Yeah, I'm not so sure of that. Like I said, if there still could be player outrage on this.
I don't think. Mm-mm.
But it's amazing. It's amazing where we've come from in the Donald Sterling story and how furious people were. And now people just throw up their arms and go, just another white NBA owner acting inappropriately. Carry on. You know, it's amazing. The first time with Sterling, there was, oh my God. Now it's just, carry on. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. But that's where we are as a society. We have grown. Oh, this is such an indictment on our society, but we have grown indifferent to people behaving badly, even in positions of power where you would think those things shouldn't take place and wouldn't take place. We've just grown indifferent to it. I mean, there's just no getting around it at this point. All right, last one. And it also involves basketball, but it involves something that's very near and dear to my heart. Anybody who listens to the show knows I love collectibles. I love baseball cards, all that stuff. This will be the largest number for a sports memorabilia item ever The highest price ever paid for an item of sports memorabilia. Michael Jordan, Game 1 of the 1998 NBA Finals, part of that last dance season for Jordan, with the Bulls beating the Jazz. Yes, he did push off. Has sold for $10.091 million with Sotheby's at the auction house Sotheby's. Somebody wanted the jersey of Michael Jordan so badly they were willing to pay over $10 million for it. It's an expensive piece of thread, man. It's the most ever paid for an item of sports memorabilia. Now, if I told you what the number was or what the item was that it surpassed, I don't think anybody would have guessed this. Diego Maradona's Hand of God jersey from the 1986 World Cup. $9.28 million was paid for it in May. Last Dance jersey was Jordan's sixth and final NBA championship. But wow. It's only the second Jordan jersey from the NBA Finals to ever appear at auction. Previous record for any Jordan item was a 97-98 Upper Deck game jersey patch card. It's a card with a little patch of jersey and an on-card autograph, which sold for $2.7 million in October 2021. God, I thought my Patrick Ewing autographed basketball was cool. I have a Patrick Ewing autographed basketball. That was my favorite player growing up, so when I had a chance to buy one, I did. We'll put it in the studio once we have the official cash-in studio all set up. We'll definitely put that up. We'll get some cool sports memorabilia to put in the cash-in studio. Do you own any memorabilia, Vlad? Do you own anything like that?
Nah.
Have any interest?
No. I move things around. I'm a mover. It might not be in pristine shape by the time I'm done with it.
Producer John in Houston, do you own any autographed memorabilia? Clyde Drexler. For what? From his Rockets days? How much did that cost you? Oh, that's not bad. Free is for me. That's not bad at all. Yeah, the Ewing autograph I think is the best autograph piece I have. I don't think I have any others. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. I've got a Mark McGuire autographed baseball. And the ink in the pen is green, which is kind of cool because it's when he was with the A's. So, for what it's worth. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap it up, get you set for tomorrow's show. It is a Football Friday show. We will have Paige's picks. We went 2-2 last week. That is certainly not terrible. It's not great. We'll try and do better this week, but 2-2, basically just losing the juice. It's all right. We'll see what we come up with for tomorrow's edition of Paige's Picks. We'll preview that and more as we continue on the Cash-In. I'm Jason Paige at Sports Map Radio.
Give me 1 second.
Ouch. Come back. Ouch. There's a lot of news in the boxing world. We'll get into some of that tomorrow. By the way, Canelo Alvarez says Floyd Mayweather Jr. would never beat me if we fought in our primes. Sorry, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Floyd Mayweather Jr., but you cannot argue with the man's results in his career. I mean, come on. All due respect to Canelo. Till proven otherwise, there ain't nobody that was going to beat Floyd Mayweather Jr. Prime, no prime. I don't know. Could Sugar Ray have beaten him in his prime?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one I would question.
There's a lot of guys that could have beaten him in his prime. In the 80s. Marvin Hagler would have gave Floyd problems.
Yeah.
Tommy would have given Floyd problems.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, we'll do some boxing on the show with some big fights coming up. See if we can get Al Bernstein on the show. It's going to do it for us. Story of the night was the NFL. Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24. I'm Jason Page for executive producer Vlad, producer John. I'm Jason Page. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for a Friday edition of The Cash In. See you, guy.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me just kill this. Kill the brick. Okay. Kill that. All right. Keep me posted tomorrow. I'll reach out to Bernstein.
Reach out to Bernstein. If not, I'll reach out to Ioli, somebody boxing wise, and either get a fantasy guy or get an NFL / college football guy or somebody maybe with odds that can make odds. Talk about the odds for the games over the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll get somebody, but I definitely want to get somebody for the boxing, especially now that Spence and Crawford being talked about, and I also want to see if we can go there. Also just bought my plane ticket to go to Green Bay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We're looking at buying tickets, but I also said, let me see what I can do. So I don't know who to talk to about that.
Yeah, let me try and see if I can. I don't even know. I'd have to check in with the affiliate there and see, because first of all, you'd have to find out if they're a Packers affiliate, which I think WNFL is. Pretty sure.
I believe so. If it's called WNFL,
you would think, but
yeah.
I'll check into it and see if they're a Packers affiliate, and then if they are, I'll reach out to the PD.
I can tell you right now, since I have the files open on the NFL book, it tells you flagship. You're right today. Look at you.
What?
Live betting.
Oh, yeah. Green Bay Packers radio broadcasts.
No, WRNW is their flagship. I don't even know if there's a WNFL anymore.
Really? We have an old list? Is that what you're telling me?
No, seriously. Wayne Larrivee, Larry McQueen, WRNW radio. There's WTMJ radio. I kind of do remember that because we used to get somebody from there.
Actually, hold on. I got something on that. Let me see something. Wisconsin.
Oh, yes, there is WNFL radio. It's also WTAQ radio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, WNFL, WSCO are the two Green Bay stations that we're on up there. Oh, yeah, WNFL. There it is, FM. WNFL Sports, shows and personalities. Oh, Lambeau Field is right on their thing. I love that. Oh, Jason Smith is on right now. Oh, Steve Zaban's on there.
The Zabe. I love Zabe.
Yep. Steve Zaban does the mornings. They syndicate him up there. John Kuhn and Brian Butch. I don't know who Drew and KB are. Heller and Davis. I don't know who these guys are. Oh, Ben Mahler's on.
Yeah, so they're probably a Fox affiliate.
Arnie Spanier. Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, they're a Fox affiliate.
Jason McIntyre. Saturday.
Fox affiliate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Fox affiliate. So wait a second. Hold on. How are they a Fox affiliate if we're listed as an affiliate there? That's really funny.
It's got it. Well, I mean, they're taking Fox programming.
WSCO. Yeah, I'm not on there. Let me look at WSCO. Why do I have the feeling we're looking at like some outdated affiliate list?
Well, I'm looking at the 2022 NFL Black Book.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
No, I'm just looking right at their radio station website.
Oh, I don't know. All right. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah, so just let me know. Well, let me give you the 4 things. 1, still want the audio for Monday.
Yes, I know. Hold on 1 second. Let me get a list.
2,
let me know
about Palm Springs and what kind of hookups there can be. So just go there for a week and see what's up going on.
Palm Springs hotels.
3rd is the NFL ticket to Green Bay, and 4th would be the credentials for the fight. Since the fight's not till
November,
we'll put that last. The game's literally a month away from today because it's 1 o'clock in the East Coast right now. So
Palm
it's the
Springs
16th.
hotels, NFL Green Bay, November fight. And what was the other one? Oh, the Iowa
audio for Monday for Iowa.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
All right, bro.
I'll catch up with you later. Thanks. Bye.
All right.